I'm joined by Ballynanty Rovers manager Donal Magee. Thanks for joining us, Donal, out here in LIT before training. Donal, you were with Shannontown last year, got to an FAI Cup quarter-final, eventually beaten by finalists and Limerick club Pike Rovers. You must have seen that as quite a successful season for Shannon.
Yeah, I was with Shannontown 4 years. We were in 1A initially, doing quite well, and the opportunity arose and actually came about from the schoolboys to move the club back into Clare, which I thought was right because we're from Shannon, so it made sense to go back into Clare. So it was terrific to be able to do that. And yeah, we had a couple of really successful years at all levels in the club, not just the A team. You know, all the teams were successful, the B's and C's, and especially underagers did really, really well. It made a lot of sense because a lot of the kids got an opportunity to play for the county, where they might have in Limerick, where it was, they were able to play for Clare and at that level, and it brought a lot of success too. You know, we had a lot of, we had quite a few underage teams there, you know. But with regards to the A team, yeah, we came in and played. We won the division the first division, and then we won the Premier on the last day of the season the next year, which was a great achievement considering how good Newmarket were, and also for the club it was a remarkable achievement in that sense to win the league, to keep ourselves in that position to contest the league. The following year, obviously, we finished second, and we had a great run in the FAI, and we lost to Pike in penalties in the quarter-final. Kick of a ball, literally, and that's cup football. Great achievement considering, we wouldn't have the resources or the pool of players that say Pike would have or some of the other Limerick clubs would have. So it was really a great achievement, and a lot of credit has to go to the players and the staff and the club for the support. But to the players, I think, put in a huge effort. Training-wise, got really fit. Necessarily mightn't be as technical as some of the Limerick teams, but for the effort they put in, the endeavour, hard training, and the time and commitment that it took, did really, really well. I'm very proud to be associated with that. I think it was a great achievement for everybody concerned.
Yeah, you're now with Ballynanty Rovers in Limerick after that. What attracted you to Ballynanty Rovers?
I was originally with Balla years ago. Some people don't realise that. When I was involved in Limerick, and then I got an opportunity to come and manage be a coach under Robert McCarthy for 2 seasons. Enjoyed that. Always had a soft spot for Balla in my heart. Great club, great community. I love the general area. It's brilliant, and the opportunity to come back into Limerick. I had considered I was kind of saying I had enough done, and met Ger a couple of times, and I had contemplated not doing anything, to be truthful, because I had told Shannontown at Christmas that I was finished with them, because I'd done 4 years. I thought it was enough, and I felt like, I suppose every year I tell lies to myself, my wife could probably give you a better interview, that I just didn't want to do it anymore because it was hard work. But when Ger asked me, and I got a kind of taste of it when we did have a good run in the FAI and stuff, I said, you know what, and Ballard being such a good club and a big club, it was just too good an opportunity to say no to be truthful, Adrian, and I just wanted the opportunity to come into Limerick, meet old friends, get involved with the club that I really genuinely have great time for. So it was a great honour for me to come back in, to be truthful.
Yeah, you haven't looked back since. You've had an unbelievable start to the season, 7 wins from 7, 22 goals scored, 6 conceded in the league. You also have a game in hand on Pike in Janesborough. What's been the secret somewhat to the success so far?
To be honest with you, I don't think there's any secret. Every manager has his or her own way of doing things. There's a certain way I like to coach, there's a certain way I like to organise my team. I would be very proactive in that sense. I always try to encourage and demand the best out of the players. Because for themselves, I ask them to be the best they can be in that sense, do the best they can do. One of my strengths would be organisation. Always get your team organised, the first thing. Fitness and organisation is key to anything, in any sport, but in junior football it would be. Nobody denies that the Limerick League is probably one of the strongest outside of Dublin, or the strongest when you take Dublin into it, of all the junior football leagues in the country. Because it's not just one team, there's 4 or 5 teams on their day can beat anybody in the country. So you have to be, fit. You've got to be organised. There already is a terrific pool of players here. We've added 1 or 2. The couple we've added actually are players I used to coach years ago when I was first involved with Ballynanty. So that was good to see them come back in. That was that continuation there, which was for me was good. But great club. Delighted where we are. We can only play the teams that are in front of us. We can only do what we have to do against them. We haven't had a full team to pick from. Any of those games and issues with people being away on weddings and stags and what have you. So maybe we were a little fortunate to get where we are, but we're 7 out of 7. Like you said, we have a game in hand on the other 2. We're playing Crewe on Sunday. The one thing in Limerick that I find, you cannot take anybody lightly. You can't go out and say, I'll play my second strings or we'll take it. You can't do that in Limerick. You can't do it in Limerick football, even regardless of what team you're playing or what position you are, because you'll lose. Yeah. The league is that strong, and I don't do it anyway as a rule, because I don't treat people disrespectfully like that. So, you know, I'd always put my best team out, in my opinion, on the day that's available to me to select from.
Yeah, you mentioned your recruitment there. You've brought in players. Aaron Noonan's come in, Jamie O'Sullivan has come in, Keith Colbert. What do you think those players have brought to your team?
I'm delighted with them as well, and Jossie is there as well. Shane Guerin come back. We've got a couple of young fellas. Jared Higgins has come in, and TJ O'Dwyer, another 2. So I'm delighted with the youth, and they're getting opportunity. Another player from is Craig McMorrow's come back as well into it as well, so he gives a good balance on the left, and probably one of the most important players to sign, because in a team, one of the most important players is your goalkeeper. So we haven't great goalkeepers with Steve McNamara anyway, but I was delighted that Darren Whelan followed me in from Shannon Town. So Darren's a very, very experienced goalkeeper. So that was great that we were able to have the 2 of them, because if you're going to win anything or do well at any level, you need quality, you know, and goalkeeping is a very important position.
Yeah, one of the big criticisms, I suppose, around outside of Ballynanty in the past has been maybe a small bit of ill discipline on and off the field has cost them in terms of challenging for the league over a sustained period over the whole season. How did you plan on rectifying that? Is this group different to that? Or?
Well, they're no different. There's still a Ballon mentality. We don't like losing, and they'll always be committed and, you know, and be aggressive in the right ways. We have improved on the discipline. First of all, I'm not a coach that jumps up and down the line. I don't deaf and blind at people. It's just not the way I operate. I never have. I'm still involved in underage football in Shannon Town with the under 12 girls team. I don't curse at people, Adrian. It's just not my style. Yeah. You know, I try and encourage all the time to do it. That's a reflection. If the players look at their manager jumping up and down, dropping the F-bomb and doing stuff, they're going to react like that. If the players look over and the manager's calm, the staff is calm, the sideline is calm, they're not going to get too excited. And that's the first thing we address with them. We've talked to the players, and in fairness, it's come on board, and we deal with the referees differently. And I think the feedback that we're getting has shocked a few people, and the feedback we're getting from referees in regards to that has been very positive. They've noticed the change. That way, we can't use the excuse if somebody hadn't got sent off or somebody's undisciplined across the game. That's not the real issue. We lose it because the team that beat us are better, and that's it.
Yeah, you're still in all big competitions as well. You're still in the Munster Junior, still in the FAI Cup. With the start in the league as well, was there any competition you targeted at the start of the year in particular? Or?
You're in it to win it. That's my view, and always will be. Every competition is there to win, and I'm no different from any other manager in this league. Obviously, some people have different targets than we have. I appreciate that, but on the day, anybody can win a cup. Anybody can do well in a cup. The main thing would be to try and do better than we did last year. The club finished 3rd last year, so if we could succeed at to win the league would be a huge achievement. Not an easy achievement. I mean, James won the last 3 years. It was Crewe before that. So even what James won the last 3 years, I mean, you have to take notice of that. I know that people say they haven't started well. That's just a load of rubbish. There's no leagues won in September. Right now we're a couple of points ahead of people. That means nothing. It's nice now, but will that count at the end of the season? It'll only count if we win against Jamesborough and Pike and those teams, and then the second round, if we keep doing as well as we can, then maybe that'll help. But until that, our feet are very planted firmly on the ground. It's within our own control. And again, you take each game as it comes. I don't go looking ahead. I look ahead towards the next 2 or 3 weeks if we know what the schedule is. But other than that, we play each team at a time, and we address in the training that week. We prepare for that team on Sunday.
I was talking to a couple of the club officials before the game. They said that one of your big wants before you came back was a bit of a more professional setup. You have a great setup here in LIT for training, you know, dressing rooms, the whole lot. The club has now bought Bayham Park, so there's a great buzz around the club at the moment.
Absolutely, Adrian, and you're right in saying it. When I met with Ger, he'd asked me where did I want to play, and I said Bateman straight away, and he goes, why? I said, because none of the other clubs like playing there, and that's traditionally Ballynanty's home. So he said, no, we're working on that. He said, where else would you like to play outside? And I said, well, if we could use the facilities in LIT, we would be the main tenant here for that. So we're very privileged to have the facilities here. We have the Astra outside, great pitch to play on. We have the change rooms and showers and all that. So it's also, excuse me, it's also by the community where Ballynanty are. So to me, that's important that we're actually playing where the people are from. And we've got good support have come down and do it. But again, winning helps that, you know. And yeah, being more professional. The club were always good, so all I've asked is a few things to help improve it. Physio, little things like that. You know, somebody takes care of the gear. That's all done for here. So on that level, it's very, very good. And Ger has been a great help. My assistant is Paulie Hickey. Then you have Pete, Ryan, and Ray Dunphy, Rory Price, and Richie, who lent us his jersey there.
Yeah, for Ballynanty colours.
Yeah. So there's a great group of lads around that want nothing better but the club to succeed and do well. And by purchasing Bacon Park, in a few years, we're very fortunate to have the Daily supporting us, and Christian Meehan and D&J Glaze and a few other people that are supporting it. We're very fortunate in that sense, and the future is bright for Ballynanty, and it's an exciting time to be involved with the club.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned earlier on how strong Limerick Junior Soccer has been maybe in the past, and now, although it seems to be that a lot of teams have pulled out in recent years, you know, there's been squabbles over money and who's been paid money around, you know, it seems like a lot of people are saying Limerick Junior Soccer is at its lowest ebb outside of maybe the top 3 or 4 clubs. Do you think that that's maybe something to do with society, or is there anything we can do to improve that?
Well, first of all, what other clubs do, it's a lot of it's rumours and speculation. We at Ballynanty don't pay players, I can tell you that categorically. We help the players with training, we'll help the players with equipment, we'll help the players with physio and stuff like that. But I would expect enough of the better clubs to do that anyway. Regarding the other clubs playing players, they've been saying that in Limerick for years, Adrian. Do I know that to be true? Not really. It's all speculation, and it's not my place to talk about that, to be truthful. That's the league should be dealing with that. And also those clubs, if they are, that's their business. It doesn't concern me because it's not Ballynanty Rovers. What they do is their own business, and it's nothing to do with that. Unfortunately, that maybe is right with certain leagues in the country and things, but that doesn't concern me. Is it society? Yes, I would say that. I've been involved in coaching for a long time at all levels. People aren't playing the same sport. Numbers aren't there that they used to be at all levels, girls and boys and everything. How do we change that? We need to make it more attractive for the kids. But I think in general they're different now than they were when, say, I was growing up or when you were growing up. They don't seem to have the same desire to play. So you've got to do something to change that. Is the Limerick League as good as it was years ago? I'd say it's probably dropped off a little bit. And you're right, there is a gulf between, say, 3 or 4 of the clubs down below than there is the clubs at the top. There's an absolute gulf there. But I think that's the same in any league in the country now, where maybe 10 years ago in Limerick you would have had 7 or 8 teams competing. That doesn't seem to be there anymore now. There's maybe 5 or 6. And then some of the clubs from outside have come in. Nina did well, I think, the first year when they came in, and they found it difficult after that. Would any of the Clare teams do well in Limerick? I think the first year, the buzz, they would do okay, but after that, I think they just wouldn't survive it. It's too strong a league on a week-to-week basis, you know.
Back to Ballynanty issues, you've got Crew Park, as you said. Crew Park have actually struggled. They're one of the teams maybe I could have mentioned, you know. There's been a lot of rumours obviously about Crew, but we know for a fact they've lost a lot of quality players this season. Only 3 or 4 years ago that team won the league.
That's great.
You know, and they were still quite young, so it was disappointing for them. Everyone will be expecting, you know, to beat Crew Park, but as you said, it's going to be a key to try and warn out complacency.
Well, we've had on paper a couple of relatively easier games the last few weeks by playing lower division sides in the cups. But again, if you go out with a bad attitude, you're going to get caught and you're going to get out. If we start with a happy-go-lucky attitude on Sunday morning, don't take it professionally, don't show Crew the respect they deserve, we're going to get caught. And I can guarantee you that won't happen Sunday morning, because that's not how I operate. And that will be drilled into the players tonight. We will treat Crew with the respect they deserve, and we will make sure we go out to do our job. Are they struggling at this present time? I believe they are. Have they lost players? I believe they are. Again, I don't worry myself with what's going on in other clubs. Do I have sympathy for them? Absolutely. I certainly do. Because I was there in the summer for the Boise tournament. And nice people, great club and set up and everything there was fabulous. So yes, I have sympathy for them. But again, my only concern is Ballynanty Rovers. And that's not to be blunt or be rude. That's all I care about is Ballynanty. Pulls on a blue shirt, I'm all for him. He's our player. Otherwise, I don't care.
Absolutely. You mentioned the blue shirt as well. Another club with a blue shirt you involved in was the senior side in Limerick FC years ago with Dave Connell, as you mentioned earlier on. You're also involved during the Pat Scully era as well as a championship manager. How do you feel the rest of the season could go for Limerick? I mean, they're guaranteed a playoff spot now, but it could be a very tough end with it.
Yeah, it's been very difficult. It's a great shame to see them where they are now, because I think, to be honest with you, I think Limerick football is brilliant. I mean, the junior league is one of the best in the country, if not the best, and the Dubs might argue with that. But on the senior front, it's a great shame that Limerick are where they are, in that sense, because there is quality here. But it's very expensive to run a club at that level and not have any success. In a sense, like maybe get an opportunity to go to Europe, maybe winning the Premier League and stuff like that. And also when you're out of the, we don't have the advertising community here that we'll have in Dublin, say, or maybe Dundalk because it's close to Dublin. But hopefully they'll do well. I'd like to see them do well. I'd like to see Tommy stay on. I'd like to see them do well. I'd like to see them stay in the Premier. I think it's important that Limerick, as a city, have a senior team in the Premier Division. And it would be great if they could get more support. I mean, I think it's more that the support on the levels good with the fans, but financial support to help. Because I think what Pat O'Sullivan's done the last 8, 9, 10 years has been amazing. What he's contributed and give to Limerick football. I don't think a lot of people appreciate what Pat O'Sullivan has actually done to contribute to keep Limerick where they are.
For years, there's actually been a kind of a disparity between junior clubs in Limerick and the senior side. It seems like it's two separate entities almost. It's like when clubs in the junior league lose players to Limerick, that they're actually losing players rather than the player going to better himself, which is to a senior team. Do you believe that, first of all, I suppose, do you believe there are junior players that would be able to step up to that level really? And do you think that if all clubs rolled in together, it'd be a better product for Limerick overall?
I'm from old school. I always would try to get if a player I have under my control or my tenure, or whatever you want to call it, I would try and get him or her to play at the highest level. And if I'm not able to get them there, that's my fault. But if a player should be playing at that level, you've got to push him. Yes, is it detrimental to your team and your club? It is, but don't forget, if you help that child or that person progress and you come up to that level and they're able to play it, they'll come back to your club. And I think it's important, even as us at the level we're at, to encourage young players. Like we have a couple of young players, and we will have a minor team next year. We don't have this year. That will happen next year. So they will train with the A's. It will be brought up into the ranks and go forward. So for us going forward, we're going on positive footing. If we 1 or 2 players that are up to, we want them to go. And yes, if the junior clubs in Limerick pull together with Limerick senior football, we better absolutely. So you have to ask the question: are they doing it for themselves? Is it about them, or is it about their club and promoting Limerick football in general? So that's what my always would be, to try and promote your own club. But if you have a player, you're doing him or her a disservice by not helping them reach the levels they should be reaching. And the benefit is for your club when it comes back, whatever way you look. But then again, see, it's hard because is there a gulf? Is there any junior players here that can play in the League of Ireland? Probably. But it's a big commitment. Do they want to do it? It's a huge commitment. You're training 3 times, 4 times a week, usually travelling. So it's hard, it's a hard one, it's difficult, But yes, love to see them do better, absolutely. And I think the knock-on effect will be better for the junior clubs,